Alright boys, welcome back to another video. Daily Colts here. Today we're going to be reacting to the 28-27 victory Sunday afternoon over the New York Jets. This was absolutely a must-win game. If the Colts had dropped this one, their playoff chances, they wouldn't have been over, but they would have been highly improbable. But the Colts, they picked this one up, and the reason they did it was a clutch defensive stop at the end of this game. But let's face it, the offense, this was one of their best performances of the season. I understand we had, was it 3 or 4 consecutive drives where we had like 7 yards, but when we had to go out there and make plays, we did exactly that. The beginning, getting off to that 13-0 start. At the end, of course, scoring a touchdown. Anthony Richardson, 20 of 30 for 272 yards and a touchdown through the air as a runner. 10 for 32 and 2 touchdowns. This is why the Colts are a better football team with Richardson versus Flacco, is because the run game opens up, and also down in the red zone they become virtually unstoppable just because they're playing just straight up one-on-one level football with Richardson, with how just dynamic he is with his strength, be able to go right through defenders. Really good game for AR. He was accurate. He made big throws. He looked comfortable. I get the Jets aren't exactly the best team in the world, but they've got a pretty damn good defense. And of course, they've got some Hall of Famers on the opposite side of the ball. Tyron Smith didn't play, but they still got Adams. They still got Rodgers. And they fought us, man. I mean, that third quarter, they had a 10-3 run. And in the fourth quarter, it looked a little bit bleak, but the defense, it ends up giving up a field goal. In the second to last drive and the final drive, they end up just completely getting the time to expire. So I'm happy with this win. I think we can build off of it, but things obviously are only going to get more difficult because our next game, we're going up against the Detroit Lions, who I believe have 51 points right now. It is the Titans, but still, or not the Titans, sorry, they're going up against the Jaguars. I think they have like 51 or 52 right now. That game's going to be in Indy. If we can win that game, I mean, that would change absolutely everything. Even if we can just be in that game and at one score. I mean, remember guys, you look at our losses. So we've lost what? So our record right now is we're 5-6. I want to say 9 games we played this year were separated by 1 score. I guess we can just count. So today was 1, Minnesota 2, Houston 3, Miami 4, Tennessee 5, Jacksonville 6, Pittsburgh 7, Chicago 8, Green Bay 9, Texans 10. Actually 10. So 10 games we played this year, which is literally all but 1, which was the Bills game. That was by 10. Have been by 1 score. So it goes to show that a couple of plays, if they had just gone our way, and we'd be in a much better spot. But being 5-6, you can't really complain about that. It's not where I wanted to be to start the season, but we've got a huge opportunity because the Denver Broncos, who have that 7th and final playoff seed right now, they're facing the Atlanta Falcons. They've dropped 2 in a row. The Chargers are 6-3. I certainly don't see them falling off. The Ravens aren't falling off. Texans, I think they honestly could fall off. To that point, we're talking about the division. Pittsburgh, I think, is good. Bills, Chiefs. So really what we're looking at is going to be the division or the 7th seed. So root for Denver to lose today, and obviously root for the Texans to lose Monday night against the Dallas Cowboys. The Bengals play tonight against the Chargers. I would certainly root for them to lose because you don't want to be competing with the Bengals for that final playoff spot. I mean, the Bengals they've got a lot of talent on the opposite side of the ball. The Dolphins did win today, so but their chances are only 12%. They'll probably go up maybe like 5 or 6%, beating the Raiders. Indianapolis, they've got a lot of talent. That's my thing, is it's just kind of frustrating because we've dropped some games I thought we should have won. Like the one against the Vikings was kind of the biggest example. And the Texans game as well, AR throwing that crucial pick. Just a couple of the plays, like the Jags game, for example, that if we could just go back and make them, we win. But again, we're talking about a team that still has a lot of football left. We play Denver in week 15. Giants, Jags, Titans ending the season. That's a huge stretch for us to do some big things. More than likely, the Giants, Titans, they're going to be looking at the draft. The Jags is the same thing. It is a divisional game. Don't get me wrong. They'll bring it. Games we've got to win. But really, the Lions is the last very, very high level team we play because we've got New England and we have a bye week. So we have a bye week before going to Denver. Denver's probably going to be our biggest game of the year because if you beat them, it's basically like winning 2 games because you get a win and they get a loss. And then, like I said, the rest of the team just aren't that great. Detroit, I'm already thinking about it right now. But truly, though, getting a little ahead of myself, I do think the Colts have to go look at the film and make some adjustments and just stay aggressive. Thought they were really passive in this one. They ran the ball with Jonathan Taylor on the 2-point try, failed that. We ran the ball, I think, a little bit too much. And I understand Steichen wants to make it easy on his young quarterback. It's only the 11th start of his career. But it's just when AR is slinging the ball like this, guys are getting open. The Jets were having trouble in man coverage. or just in their zones of the Colts being able to exploit it and find the soft spots. You've got to roll with it. I think AR honestly could have done a lot more damage than he did, but when the game was on the line, he stepped up and made some plays. But give credit to this offensive line. Had its moments, some good and some bad. It's starting 3 rookies, but again, just when they needed to make plays, they did. Alec Pierce, Josh Downs, they're going to be on the thumbnail with AR. They stepped up big. Just definitely our best, I would say, offensive performance of the season. I know people are probably going to be like Jacksonville, but I don't know, man. Just this was this one that I was just really impressed with, man. If I'm being completely honest with you guys, it was one that I think we can build off of and be ready for Detroit. That's going to be a huge game, but in terms of the numbers, Josh Downs 5 for 84, the touchdown. He's established himself without question as our wide receiver 1, which is surprising because Michael Pittman Jr. Pittman last season had a career season in terms of yards. Alec Pierce as well proved to be one of the better deep threats in the league. We bring in Adonai Mitchell, but Downs, there was something special about him when he was out there. The plays he's able to make, he's just a different type of guy in the slot. We saw him line up in the backfield as well, and that touchdown, run a great route. Our tight ends have been pretty much non-existent this season, but today we saw 2 catches for 17 yards from Ollie Cox. Ogletree had a catch for 8 yards. Granson had a catch for 4 yards. We did try to trade up back in April for Brock Bowers. Unfortunately, that didn't happen, but it is what it is, man. I mean, we ended up getting Latu, who had a big sack in this game, of course. And we got AD Mitchell, who last season actually had the best game of his young NFL career. So I'm excited about that. JT, 24 for 57. I think he was kind of set up to fail, if I'm being honest. A lot of these he was just hit before he even was able to get to the line of scrimmage. The O-line's got to do a better job blocking, but we're just so decimated up there with Ryan Kelly being out, no Bernard Ryman, of course, starting in Calvis. So we have our right guard, no Fries is on the IR. I'm not sure if he's out for the season. You guys can let me know if you're still watching to this point. But in terms of our defense, I mean, Aaron Rodgers does 184 yards, but does have 2 touchdowns, no picks, so he was efficient, 22 of 29, but good job getting pressure on him, 3 sacks, especially the end of the game was huge. Breece Hall goes 16 of 78 for a touchdown on the ground. As a receiver, 743 and a touchdown. He killed us. Davante Adams, we kept him in check, 6 for 72. Wasn't really much of a problem. He did have a couple of catches where he was able to go after it and create, but he didn't really cause too much trouble, which is just for the Colts, they don't play a lot of man coverage, so that's the thing. It's a collective effort. Garrett Wilson, 4 for 18. I mean, you don't see Garrett Wilson have only 18 yards in a game very often. I thought the defense played well. There was just some stretches where offensively we look really good, and then we look really bad. Same thing for the defense. It looked really good at times, and it looked really bad. So it kind of cancels out, and it's to the point where it was like, okay, got it done, but we do have to be more consistent, especially against the Lions. And I mean, guys, I'm telling you right now, we can get that game all of a sudden. We're looking at probably 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I mean, I do think the Broncos have a really good chance to make the playoffs, but our schedule is just so soft. I think I'd favorite us. I'm not even being biased too, because I do run a Broncos channel, by the way. I can tell you right now that I like the Colts odds more, especially if they can beat Detroit. But even if we do lose to Detroit, we'd be talking about being 5-7, and then we've got a chance to win, I would say, 4 of our next 5 games, which of course would put us at 9-8. If we go 9-8, I don't think that's going to be, I mean, that probably will be good enough for the 7th seed though. The question is, would it be good? I don't think it's good enough for the division. I do think the 7th seed, but also the Bengals and the Broncos, I'd have to look at the schedules, but yeah, the Colts beating Detroit would be huge, because if you do lose that, then all of a sudden you look at your next 5 games, you probably win 4 of those. I mean, if you're lucky, 9-8, is that going to be good enough? But if the Colts go 9-8, considering where the season looked like it was going, I don't even think that would be that bad. You never want to go backwards as a franchise. So if you go 9-8, it's the same as last season. But also Richardson, hopefully, is able to stay healthy. Honestly, that'd probably be a win if Richardson stays healthy the whole season and gets better like he did in this game. So